Hey MJ. So essentially what I was finding when I was going over your homework is that all that we're doing is just looking at lines, looking at points, looking at slope. No big deal. The good news and the bad news about this is that the bad news is that this stuff's not going away. You're gonna have to do this stuff on the ACT or the SAT. You're gonna have to do it all through the rest of your high school math career. And you're going to have to probably do this in college quite a bit, because when you get into calculus, that's all you're doing is continually finding slopes of a curve. So we kind of got to get good at finding the slope of straight lines. Alright, so let's just go over these things one by one so you make sure you have your fundamentals down. Your slope is m, which equals your rise over your run. All that means is it's your y over your x. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That will give you your slope. That's the key to everything. If you get the slope, the rest of this is pretty easy. Next up on your list was point slope form. That is y minus y1 equals m, which is your slope, times x minus x1. This y and this x, you don't need to worry about. All you need to do is pick one of your points and plug it in. Plug and chug. Pretty simple. Next step was slope-intercept form. That's going to be your most useful form when you're looking at equations of lines. That is y equals m, your slope, times x plus b, which is your y-intercept. So going over your homework, I boiled it down to 6 basic steps. If you follow these 6 steps for all 10 of your lines, you're going to get 100 on this project if you color in the shape properly, which you will. You're artistic. So your first step is find your 2 points. No big deal. Second, find your slope by plugging those 2 points into this formula. Third, plug and chug for point slope form. Once you get your m, you pick one of your points, doesn't matter which one, it'll work out the same way, into y1 and x1, ta-da, you're done. Next part is you're going to solve for y. What that means is when you plug in your point, you're going to distribute your m here, so you'll have that mx part, then you'll have m times your x1 equals y minus y1, which is whatever the y point was, and then you'll just solve it so it looks like that. Yay! Plug into slope-intercept form. Well, once you solve for y, you've got slope-intercept form. Done. And then find your intercepts. All that means is that when you're solving for your x-intercept, that's where your line crosses the x-axis, you're going to set y equal to 0, solve for x, you're done. If you're solving for your y-intercept, that's where the line crosses the y-axis, you'll set your x equal to 0, and you'll get y equals some number. You're done. So let's go ahead and look at an example. That's how I learn best, instead of a bunch of letters and everything. So I picked 2 random points. Point 1 was 1, 5. Point 2, to keep things interesting, was negative 1, 1. And I went ahead and I just labeled mine clearly to keep things straight. x1, y1, x2, y2. So going to our steps, step 1, find your points. Check. Step 2, find your slope. y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So we just come up here. y2, 1 minus y1 is 5 all over x2, negative 1. Minus 1. That's going to equal 1 minus 5 is negative 4 all over negative 1 minus 1 equals negative 2. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2. Negative divided by negative equals a positive. You're done. Step 3, pick a point. Like I said, it doesn't matter which one you pick. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I decided to go with 1, 5 because I don't like messing with negatives unless I have to because, well, why give yourself more work when you don't need to? y minus 5 equals 2, which we found in step 2, times x minus 1. That's all you have to do. Check, you're done. 4, solve for y. So we just bring this down here. Y minus 5 equals 2 times x minus 1. Distribute out your slope. Y minus 5 equals 2x minus 2. Next part, just bring that negative 5 over by adding. Y equals 2x plus 3. That is in the slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b. So you got step 5. Now you just have to find your intercepts. Pretty easy. X-intercept, remember when you're finding your x-intercept, that's where we're crossing the x-axis, which means y will be 0. 0 equals 2x plus 3. Bring that 3 over. Negative 3 equals 2x. Divide the 2 over on both sides. You get negative 3 over 2 equals x. Just to put it in the proper form, that means you have negative 3 over 2, 0 for your x-intercept. Your y-intercept, if you remember slope-intercept form up here, this plus b is your y-intercept. So technically we don't have to do all the math, but your teacher probably wants you to because that's what they do. So we'll just resolve real quick. Y equals 2 times 0, because your x is 0, plus 3. Y equals 3. Your y-intercept is 0, 3. All right, that's kind of a quick run through of all that. And the next video that I'm going to give you is an actual 2 points from the drawing that you gave me, and we'll go from there.